90% of strategies fail because they're overcomplicated and don't have enough data on the actual strategy. Entries are far too complex and have too many variables for things to go wrong. Over my past 5 years of trading, I've decided to trade live for 3 years using mostly these exact 3 entries that I'm going to discuss in this video. These entries have held over a 70% win rate, done live every single day from entry to exit with a proven track record. And that is exactly why I wanted to make this video, to show you guys 3 simple entries and concepts that you can use in your own trading. I'm going to show you real life examples as well as how they work. So let's get into the video. So I call these setups setup 1, 2, 3. They're based off price action, and these are my most common setups that I use, and the way I apply them is specific to me, where the concepts can be used in general price action. Now, setup number 1, which is the first one I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to get through them and show you live examples so you can get a full picture, so make sure to stay to the end, is my most used setup. Now, this has made me the most money, this specific setup here, and it's very, very powerful, very versatile, and extremely simple. So what we need for setup 1 is we essentially need some sort of range. I execute setup 1 on the 50-minute time frame, as I find that is the most effective time frame that you can use. The idea for setup number 1 is we want to have this type of consolidation here. This consolidation is essentially creating liquidity. What we do after that consolidation is we look for an expansion of that, okay? So this is where liquidity is created. This is where people can get chopped up, and we are trading the expansion. What are we doing? We're making sure to trade between zone to zone. So you need to have your support and resistance levels marked from daily down to the 15-minute, because you're entering on the 15-minute. You just mark the most recent. I will show you some examples, and I'll also link you to a playlist. You can check my playlist. There's fundamental videos. Watch the support and resistance video there, because I don't want to make this video like 45 minutes long going through all of those concepts. I want to specifically talk about the entries and talk about the entries in depth. So check out those videos, and if you're enjoying this video, leave a like, and if you do enjoy it, support the channel. I would appreciate it, subscribing and liking. So what we need is some sort of consolidation. I prefer there to be 2 structural points, meaning we have bearish candle followed by bullish candle, and we have, a bullish candle followed by bearish candle. We have that twice. So basically 2 structures that's showing me good liquidity. You only need 1, to be honest, and I take a lot of setup 1s with only 1 high being made, 1 low being made, and then we get the continuation, and I'm going to show you exactly how it continues, but we need this liquidity to be created. Now, there's 2 specific things that we're going to need, and this is a must for the entry. We need to know what direction to look for an entry, because today what could happen is that you could, get below here, it fakes out, and then you get caught in a fake out, right? So I've kind of spoiled it. We're looking for close above or below. But what ends up happening is you don't know what direction. That is going to be dictated by something called bias. If you're looking for buys, you need at least a daily or a 4-hour closing in the direction you're looking for the trade. If both are closing together, daily is closing bullish and previous 4 hours closing bullish. So the previous daily and previous 4 hour, I made an in-depth video, not the last video, the one before that on my channel talks about this. And I have a free indicator that you can use to tell you what bias is. You follow that, right? You go with bullish bias, means only in this breakout, I'm only looking for buys, right? I'm only looking for buys. So how does this setup work? Setup is extremely simple. We have our consolidation. We need clean candles here. So if we have a resistance right here, remember we done the markup, it's not going to be valid because you're buying into resistance. You need a clean zone. So if we're looking for buys, we're going to have a clean zone in the past. You look left and you say, is there no resistance? Is it just clean candles? Back-to-back candles closing like this is going to give you a trading range. If you don't have that, you can't enter these trades. You wait for your support and resistance. You wait for a candle closing above that resistance. On a 15-minute, you can take it 1 hour, 15, 30, whatever works for you. I like the 15. Next candle needs to come down, make a bottom wick. Let me know in the comments if you want a separate video on that. And then we wait for break of high to get the continuation. Where do we target? Our next resistance. And that's it. Stop loss goes below the candle that breaks out. If it's a small candle, put it below the structure. Always safer. Okay. Same thing for sells. So I want to get into some examples because that's where it's really going to be cleared up here. So let's look at that. So this is an example of a trade I actually took live on stream. You guys can watch my stream Monday to Friday live on YouTube London session. Check it out. And this is a gold buy I took. Now, same type of idea. I'm looking for the candle to close above. In terms of here, we have one structure. I have no resistance. My resistance level is the 3705, which is also a key level. Now, the reason why I took it above 700 is 700 is like a flat number. They're known as key levels. But I want to show you a concept here. If price was to just close above here, this would be invalid. Why? Ask yourself why. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. If you didn't answer, it's why you're still watching the video, so continue to watch it. It's because this was a previous 15-minute resistance. In the past, this could be 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old, doesn't matter. if there's a resistance, I have to buy above it. I can't buy above the most recent. I have to buy above the resistance that's there. So I'm waiting for a close above here. We can see there's a close above here. I didn't like that we closed below 700, so I waited for one more close. If that 700 wasn't there, you just go breaking a high, forget about it, and you take the trade, and you can see something very, very clean there. Now, if we look here, here's a sell option of the same. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you some trades in action so you can really see how the action forms. So make sure to stick around about that. You probably heard when I've talked to the guys in the exclusive stuff, me say setup 1, 2, 3. So now we're making a video about it. So now you guys won't be confused. So this is a setup 1 towards the downside, right? Because it works in sells as well. We can see we're coming in a sell bias here today, moving towards the downside. We get the consolidation. Here's a 4-hour support. Our next target is this little support here. I get a close below. I enter break of low, same trade. Now I want to show you an option that failed here. So this option failed today. I had one structural point. We closed above. My next resistance was here. So that's where I was targeting. And I was going to go break even there. Because yes, it's not a one-to-one, but with volume, I can push through this. As long as it's not at my entry, I don't mind there being a small resistance here. I can try to push through. But today there was just no volume. And sometimes that happens. When there's no volume, that's when most likely the trade is going to fail because there's nothing to continue. It needs to consolidate, grab more liquidity to continue. Now, I was expecting with it being London open time to grab some volume, but it was not there. Possibly my mistake in this trade is this is too much of a push for price. This happened pre-London, so I thought London can give the continuation, but we were just consolidating today. Ended up consolidating, coming down here, and then giving us another setup that I'm going to discuss about. So sometimes that happens, and you know, this trade is not a 100% win rate. It's above 70. So you're going to have these. Don't feel like you've done something wrong. There are always mistakes that happen in trades. Otherwise, we'd have 100% win rate. So let's get on to setup number 2. So setup number 2, we talked about a continuation trade, how to continue, but what if price has already continued? At that case, we're looking for some sort of pullback. Now, this looks extremely simple, but it's not as simple as this. This is just a diagram to give you the concept. The actual application is a little bit different. So the essential idea we're looking for is that price has pushed up here. We don't want to be the guys buying these highs or selling these lows and then getting caught in this pullback. Imagine you bought right here and now you get stopped out. It's probably happened to most of you, happened to me for sure. So instead, what we want to do, we want to wait for the pullback and we need some sort of support creation. We need a bullish candle to show us price is ready. But where we pull back to, right, where we pull back to is very important. We need to pull back in a specific way. If we've pushed heavy before, maybe one pullback is not going to be enough. We need lower time frame structure. We don't need lower time frame structure if there's heavy volume, but this is some stuff that's going to be needed and added. Otherwise, if you just wait for a pullback and one bullish candle close, the next candle close you can get can look something like this, and you're going to lose. You're going to lose because price is just going to continue down because it has no reason to go up here. There has to be a reason. But the idea is instead of buying the highs here and getting caught out, we're waiting for a pullback. And with that pullback, we can use this pullback as our clean trading zone and target the high it's made. So this creates us a target. We pull back and we trade back towards that target. Entry and stop loss is the same. Below the candle, entry break of high, same concepts. Let's have a look at some examples. So here's an example. Again, one of the trades I've taken on stream. I'm only showing you real examples of real trades I've seen. You can go search the date of this and watch the stream replay. My link of my journal and track record is in the description of all the trades I've taken live on stream from entry to exit. So you can actually watch these back and see how I took them. So that's pretty cool. This idea here, pretty nice. Pushed up here. I don't want to be a buyer up here. It makes no sense. Why should I buy here right at resistance? We discussed that. Makes no sense. So I wait for price to pull back. That pullback creates me a clean trading zone. I don't have to trade at all these lines, which is all these resistances. No, instead I wait for this. This becomes a clean trading zone. This 1 hour is a watch zone, so I can watch and see if we reject here, I'll just get out at entry. I don't lose anything. And importantly, we retested here. We retested the bottom of the range, showing me that we have grabbed liquidity. All of my supply and demand traders, you'll know that as a demand down there. So essentially we're retesting the bottom of the range, showing me confidence, bullish candle to give me the confirmation that we're ready to go. Because if this wanted to continue down, it would have grabbed liquidity from upside and pushed through this. So I can avoid that by having the bullish candle close. Boom, first target should be here, but that wasn't my one-to-one. I extended it to this level here, took profit, and happy days. Here's another setup number 2. Now this one's a little bit different. This one we came to the top of the range. I did not want to sell the lows here. So instead of selling the lows because we saw too much, we closed right at 4-hour support. I don't want to be selling at 4-hour support. So I wait for the pullback. I still had a bearish bias today looking for sells. And what do I wait for? I wait for this nice liquidity grab, bearish candle close to confirm, retest top of the range, entry break of low, and target a 1-to-1 here. Or you can target the bottom of the range, to be honest. But I was happy with that trade and took that right there. Now, I want to show you a different style of setup 2 that can happen. Now, this is very interesting scenario. As you can see here, price pulled back very heavy. And then this one here failed. Why? Because we broke structure. So we changed something in the trade here. But that doesn't mean that, oh, we broke structure, let me take sells, and then you lose the sells. No, this is where bias, remember I told you about bias in the beginning of this video? You have to watch my bias video. This indicator is free on TradingView called Tradesharpe session bias. You can get it. And it showed bullish here. So that means I need to stick to buys, keep myself safe. So instead, I use this resistance here as a buying opportunity. Anything closing above that, we kind of make setup 1 here. And now I can take that pullback trade and continue towards the upside. So you can see how that changes, right? And how much opportunity we can have when we start to mix and match. Moving to setup number 3. Setup number 3 is that if we don't get a chance to pull back, price is in heavy movement, but we need some sort of structure, liquidity to give us a move. What we look for is we just look for a candle pause. So what's happened here is that we can see that price closed too deep. This might be a 100 pip move. 100 pip move is too much. We don't want to put a 100 pip stop loss and have a 40 pip target. Makes no sense. So we wait for price to make some sort of what? Some sort of pause in the market. And on lower time frames, like a 5-minute, this would be a pullback. And then you are entering the continuation. Have maybe 1 or 2, probably 2 is better, 5-minute bearish candles. And then boom, you're entering once it continues. And we can use that below stop loss here to keep a tighter stop loss. We enter break of high and we look for the continuation. Now, the important thing about this setup number 3 is that we want that this bottom wick to be longer than the top wick to prove to us that it's created liquidity to continue. Okay, very important. We want that. So we want to pause. We want the bottom wick to be longer so that it grabs liquidity, proving to us that we're ready to break the high. If we had a long top wick, it's showing a rejection from the upside, not the same. So let me show you a few examples. So this was an example I took live here. This is, you can see how we've closed deep above here. Candle closed bearish. We have a longer bottom wick here, entry break of high. This is a liquidity grab. So I put my stop loss below there because we went down to grab liquidity. If it didn't, then I'll put it below here. Targeted. Here I was trying to get 1-to-1, but it just fell short. Stuck at this resistance I had. So I ended up closing at this resistance and made a little bit less, but sometimes that's how you have to adapt. So I also want to show you guys that. Here's an example on the charts as well. As we can see here, we are looking for upside, big pullback here. This is a pretty big candle here. If we look, 300 pip candle, target here is only 140 pips, makes no sense. So instead what I can do is I can take a position breaking this high. You want to go break highest high. Put stop loss below the candle. Now my stop loss is a lot smaller now, right? And I can target and actually get paid a 1-to-1 once we hit that resistance up there, right? And it will actually start to make sense. Yeah, there we go. So if you imagine I took the trade and I put a stop loss below here and didn't wait for this, you can see now I'm not even at a 0.5. I'm not even 0.5% in profit. Whereas if I waited for this confirmation because it's a big candle, now I can get to optimize and actually get paid here. So very important thing. Now I want to go into some very specific examples to wrap up this video. I'm keeping this short and sweet, so make sure to watch this section, probably the most important section, as we're going to look at some examples here. So what I want to do is I want to hop on a simulator and show you how these trades play out. And this is an amazing example. So this is actually on US 30. You can trade these setups on any pairs, but I like this because heavy volume. Here's a nice one. 2 touches. We get the breakout candle. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. We have a massive, look at where my next resistance is. All the way up here. I have so much room. Look how clean the 4 hour is. Let me just show you how. Look how clean these candles are. Beautiful trading range, right? Pushing bullish today. You know, it's time to go and party, right? So we get the close above here. There we go. Now we look for what? Now we look for bottom wick and entry break of high. So we're going to actually put a buy stop, and it's going to look something like this. Breaking high, stop loss has to go below the low in this scenario here. And in this scenario, we're going to target a 1-to-1 because it's a big breakout candle, so we don't want to be greedy. And then that's it. That's it. So we're going to play this here. And this is a great tool for you guys to practice. Definitely make use of this. And it's amazing for me to show you these examples. So we're going to skip it. Oh, that went super fast. Well, there you go. That's how TP was smashed. What a fast setup. Jesus. So normally we want a proper pullback there, but wow, that was lightning McQueen. I actually skipped it too fast. I went a bit 100x, but I'm not going to replay it. You can see what happened. That was the trade that hit. There we go. So that was good. That was good to see. Now I want to show you. Let's say you come to the market and you have this scenario, or you didn't have a bottom wick, so you couldn't enter. This is where you have to wait for a pullback, right? So you can't do anything. Shit is just pushing, pushing, pushing. You're like, man, what should I do here? No problem. Wait. Just wait. Just wait, because you need a pullback, okay? Don't be jumping in here. Now, imagine a bullish candle formed here. Wouldn't make sense because it's not retesting anything. How we saw on the 4 hour, it's such a clean zone. So this could just be a pullback to continue maybe a downtrend. So it's not ready to take. Okay, and now we're pulling back so heavy, you need good confirmation. So instead, what do we see here? Boom, we retested something now. Boom, next candle does what? Retested again. Boom, bearish candle here. If you look at even lower time frame, we have some nice structure forming here. We're getting this change of structure type movement. Now what we can do is with this bullish candle, we can say, okay, now we have that support setup number 2 here. I can end up doing what? Taking a buy. So now you can put buy stop break of this high. Now stop loss goes below. All the wicks would be safer here. All the wicks will be safer to give yourself, you know, the maximum opportunity here. And then, you know, you can target your 1-to-1, or you can target all the way back into this 15-minute level, whatever you want. And then we're going to place this. Now we're going to slow this down a little bit more so we can actually see the price action, because that's the power of this, is I wanted you guys to see how it moves. So hopefully we should have waited for bottom wick first, but let's say bottom wick happened. Now we would enter break of high. So we would avoid all this drawdown by waiting for bottom wick. So that's a good thing that you guys can see, is why we wait for bottom wick. So we can avoid all this drawdown. But ideally, let's speed it up. You wait for this bottom wick. As soon as it flips, it's ready to go. So let's see how this looks. Boom. Almost flipped, actually. There we go. So that's where you be enter. You avoid all that drawdown. Only holding this tiny drawdown now. Now we're starting to get going here. And this is what's amazing about this. You guys can actually practice a little bit sped up and gather data on the setups. Practice them risk-free environment. That's why I love it. Very, very powerful tool. And it's good for me to show you how you go through a trade. Boom, TP hit. And that's it. Support creation, beautiful setups. This is an amazing example because we have a setup 1 here, setup 2 here, and if I do remember, we have a sort of setup 3 here as well. Let's see. Yeah, so here's your setup 3, right? Big candle push, closes bearish. We have a short top wick, long bottom wick, and then boom, break the high, and there you go. All setups together. Is an insane example that. So this is how it works. So gaining feedback, applying this is going to be where the magic happens. You have to get to work, gain feedback, and do that. If you want to trade with me live, get my personal feedback, speak to me on a daily basis. You can join the exclusive group only for serious traders, though we are very limited in who we accept and how much people we allow in, because I want serious people around me, because I'm there to be serious. So if you're looking to take it to the next level, this month, fortunately, we've had over 15K in payouts now, which is insane. One of our strongest months in there. So I'm happy to see the progress. So you're welcome to join that. That's the link in the description, and make use of all the tools that are available to you. Make use of my YouTube channel. That's why I post these videos. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comments of different videos you'd like to see. If you've watched all the way to the end, shout out to you. Take care, trade sharp, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon. Peace.